This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, welcome. Today we begin our SAP DataSphere course. Our primary goal is to empower you to successfully implement SAP DataSphere projects. So when you implement SAP DataSphere projects, you have to install SAP delivered content and you can start from there. That's the starting point. So in this course, we will discuss how to enable this delivered content, how to adapt the delivered content, SAP DataSphere delivered content for our project needs. Let's go through entire SAP DataSphere course content today, right? So then tomorrow we'll go through some system overview, hands-on demo. So let's open the course content. As you know, to explain DataSphere in simpler terms, DataSphere helps businesses to bring whatever data they have together, organize it, that means transform it, make it useful for analysis and decision making. Right? Earlier, the same tool, one tool available to perform the same thing, which is BW. BW, what used to do? We used to bring all data. It may be a Oracle, it may be SAP systems, it may be non-SAP system. We load data to BW system. There we have staging layer and all those info cubes, ADSOs, info providers basically. And when we were moving the data, we have transformations, DTPs, and all those things to organize that. Then we used to create BEX queries. And this BEX queries, you can use the front end, whatever view or whatever, or analysis for Office. So those basically the users consume those whatever we developed, consume those using those front end tools for decision making. The same thing applicable here. SAP DataSphere is cloud based, BW is on premise. So in this SAP DataSphere course implementation scenario, our we are going to understand finance record to report relevant information first. Record to report means in the sense accounts payable, account receivables, GL accounts, asset accounting. So that relevant reporting information. We are going to build a finance foundation for S4 HANA with SAP DataSphere and SAP Analytics Cloud. So whatever, if you observe SAP's roadmap, DataSphere, they're using like ETL, right? And SAC, they're making it as front end. Right now, we all know like the SAP says like we came up with the business data cloud. So what is included in the business data cloud? This DataSphere, SAC, and they come up with some more content. They are calling it as insight apps. So there might be a catalog. So in that catalog, a lot of insight apps will be there. That's the content in the business data cloud. When we talk about SAP DataSphere or Analytics Cloud content, it's the modeling part. They give you some views, they give you some tables, replication flows, transformation flows, task chains. In SAC, they give some stories, models, right? You can activate the content. Now, including this DataSphere and Analytics Cloud, right? So this modeling content, on top of that front end content also they released using Insight apps. So in the future, DataSphere, Analytics Cloud, SAP is going to promote, and as part of Business Data Cloud, you are going to use this DataSphere and SAC. So we are concentrating on DataSphere. However, the front end we are going to use it as SAP Analytics Cloud. We are going to build a finance foundation. We are going to activate the content relevant to finance. So when we activate the content, so it activates master data relevant content, transaction data relevant content. So the master data and transaction data, it activates for the general ledger controlling accounts payables, account receivables, right? So now SAP come up with a new thing. So we all know GL accounts. So GL accounts with semantic tags. It's a new concept in S4HANA. So they enable the semantic tags. You can group your GL accounts using these semantic tags. So this semantic tags in turn you can use for the financial KPIs. So the GL account line items, so the whatever the GL account line items, whatever posted in S4HANA, you can display using this GL account line items. You have plan data in S4HANA in the ACDoc table or ACDoc table. That also we can get it to DataSphere and we can see actual versus plan data. As I said, like we can use the semantic tags for the KPI reporting. So they developed, we can understand how they developed the semantic tagging for GL account, how the GL account and CM. So both are two different fields, how they are uh, joining these two to use it in the financial KPI reporting, we will understand. So actual plan journal entry item with semantic tags and operational accounting documents, how we can get it into. So we are going to develop basically some replication flows to get the data. So the content is already available, just we need to execute the replication. So the data, whatever is there for the GL account line items or this actual journal entry items, based on the leading ledger, right? So how I can get, so there are many ledgers in S4. So how can I get only one leading ledger? So the leading ledger and company code will combine. So there are some views delivered for that. So we will understand GL account line items with leading ledger using semantic tags, how to perform financial KPI reporting. So this is the main objective of this particular course. To enable all these things, right? So whenever you go for a project, right, they might ask you for the finance implementation, finance relevant KPI reporting, or sales relevant KPI reporting, procurement relevant KPI reporting. So whatever the scenario, right? So first you have to identify the content, install the content, and understand what are the master data and transaction data relevant views in S4 HANA or any other source system. So here I'm going to explain S4 HANA relevant, how to understand master data views relevant to your content. So we will find most important master data views. So there are many master data views delivered by SAP in S4 HANA. So whatever important master data views we are going to explore. Transaction data, we will list all serious views to get the transaction data. So transaction data in the sense from ACDoc A and ACDoc B tables. And we also know WBS element project master data, which we use for the cost analysis. So the WBS element project master data. So actually what SAP did for S4 HANA cloud, from the cloud, they delivered some views. For the S4 HANA on-premise WBS element project master data, they delivered some views. So we will see what are the views SAP delivered for this in a data sphere. And also SAP come up with hierarchies. So whenever we talk about GL accounts or finance reporting, we talk about hierarchies. We need financial statement versions. So GL accounts hierarchies, cost center hierarchies, profit center hierarchies. So now SAP come up with a SAP in SAP DataSphere we have some new concept like directory views, hierarchy with the directory views. You have multiple hierarchies you can maintain, and you can select you can maintain all these hierarchies in a particular field which is called directory enabled. And whenever you are reporting, you can choose one of the hierarchy, whatever you want. Multiple hierarchies will be available. One of the hierarchy you can choose for the reporting. So to understand this particular scenario, so what master data views, what transaction data use, first we need to understand embedded analytics. in S4HANA. So we have, I'm going to explain you like virtual data model, so which we use in S4HANA embedded analytics. Different types of views, and in those views, what are the consumption views, what are the analytical views, how can we use those in DataSphere. If you want to enhance any views, how can you enhance those views in the S4HANA system? So describing the CDS queries, analytical queries, transient queries, so and so basic understanding you will get. Then before installing the content, first of all you should have hands-on on DataSphere, how the DataSphere works. So you have to understand in and out of that particular product so that you can easily implement DataSphere. The people who know BW, they can easily understand DataSphere, because I will try to because the terminology might be different, right? So here they call it as graphical view. In BW we call it as composite provider. So, but however, because you have BW knowledge, you can easily understand DataSphere. If you don't have BW background, still you can learn as a fresher this SAP DataSphere. But you should have some SAP knowledge. It may be FI, it may be MM, it may be some BPC, it may be any other analytical tool, so that you can understand how the reporting happens. So we will understand what is SAP DataSphere, as I said, like we will collect the data, we will organize the data, we will report on it. We will create SAP DataSphere trial user. After trial user, when you create the trial user, so which trial user we are going to create? We are going to create basic trial user. When you create the basic trial user, what SAP did for that, even they gave SAC as friend. So from the basic trial user, automatically you can connect to SAC also. So whatever you develop in DataSphere, that you can expose or live, you can connect live from SAC. So we will understand what. So first we will create tables in the DataSphere, views in the DataSphere, ER models in the DataSphere, graphical views in the DataSphere. We will create analytical models in the DataSphere, so that we will expose in SCC. And in SAC we will create a story, and we will bring these whatever you developed here in DataSphere, we will use that one in SAC to develop the stories. So getting started with the SAP data warehousing, getting started with our training environment, getting started with our hands-on exercise. Then tomorrow, right, tomorrow or next week, I will give you end-to-end SAP DataSphere and SAP Analytics Cloud system walkthrough. SAC, we use it as a front end, as I said. Now, in DataSphere, you have different things, right? So we will understand what is space, right? DataSphere space. So what there will be a space where you can create all your objects. So time relevant members, connections, everything relevant to space. So that spaces we are going to understand, and whatever integration options we have, that we are going to understand. So when you are developing this particular data sphere, what kind of naming conventions you have to follow, that we will understand. So we will have hands-on exercise, because we are going to use the basic trial. Everyone can create a basic trial. So whatever I'm doing, the same time in the same time you can execute from your end. We both together execute the exercises in the system. It's not that I will give you the steps and you have, whenever you have time, you can execute. So we will not follow that process. When I'm executing in the system, at the same time you are going to execute in your system. Then we are going to understand there is something called data builder. In the data builder, many of the objects we are going to develop in the data builder. So we will understand data modeling in the data builder, data flow functionalities, replication flows, transformation flows, we are going to understand. We are going to create in the system. And we are going to understand how the analytical model works. I mean, like, analytical model means everyone knows. Whenever we talk about analytical model, it's about restricted key figures, calculated key figures, conversions, right? How can we use this analytical model for all those things? We'll understand. So we will see there are many exercises we are going to execute. We are going to prepare our data for the exercises. We are going to create some entity relationship model. We will understand entity relationship model. We will create. We can use JSON files to create ER models. We are going to create some tables, and we are going to import some tables. We are going to upload the data. We are going to create a dimension. So in the data builder, you can perform all these activities. You can create a view. You can create analytical model. We can explore the analytical model. And also we can, as I said, like for the GL account, centers, using the directory views. Then there is, on top of data builder, you have business builder. This is for data builder, basically for the consultant. When you are a consultant, you have to develop many views, tables, and all those, so that you can develop in the data builder. The business user, for that business user, they have given business builder. So in the business builder, on top of your whatever you developed, on top of that they can create business entities. So account business entity, product business entity, like that. And they can create facts. Facts are kind of info cubes they can create. And they can create fact models like multi-providers, composite providers, and they can also create some consumption models. So this is basically the business builder, basically delivered for the business user. For example, in S4 HANA, what SAP did, you have ABAP development tools. In the ABAP development tools, you can develop views, CDS views, right? So you can develop CDS views, you can preview the data, right? You can check the filters and everything in the ABAP development tools. So the ABAP development tools for the technical consultants or developers. So for example, they have a CDS view, and in the CDS view, they want to add some more fields by reading from some other field, or from the cost center, they want to read person responsible, and they want to update the CDS view, right? That they can do it in the ABAP development tools. But for that, in ABAP development tools, if you want to do it, you need the skills, right? Technical skills. The same thing, whatever they are doing in the ABAP development tools, the power user, the business user, can perform from the Fury. They come up in the Fury, they come up with app called extension tools. They call it as extension tools. So they can bring two, they can get one transaction data CDS view, and they can associate one master data view to that particular transaction data view. So from the cost center, so I have ACDoc, I have a view on top of ACDoc, and then I can associate this particular cost center. From the cost center, I can add the person responsible data in that transaction data. So that one user, that business user, can perform. So from the Fury, no need to connect to ABAP development tools. Same way, the same concept applicable here. The user, see, whenever we are talking about reporting tool, in the reports they need so many calculations. If the user is explaining you the calculation, so for example, you are the consultant and user is explaining the calculation to you, you might take some time to digest, and also you might be confusing. Like sometimes what happens, you might not develop it correctly. Again, they will come back to you. So it's I mean, it takes some time. If the user can develop that KPI, that calculation, then it is going to save some time, and he can easily develop as per his requirement. So in the business builder, they can do that. They can call the data builder objects whatever you developed. On top of that, they can build their own KPIs. They can show actuals, they can show the plan, and they can calculate the difference, variance, and variance percentage. So from the data builder, they can get actual data. From the data builder, they can get the plan data. So the remaining difference calculation and percentage calculation, they can do it in their own. You can also do it in the analytical model. But as I said, like the business user knows more, so regarding formulas, so they can develop. And we also, once our data builder is done, our business builder is done, we can consume whatever we developed here, analytical models, including the hierarchies and everything, we can consume in the analytics cloud. We will call these developments, whatever models we developed, we will create a connection, and uh, in the trial user, SAP automatically gives a connection. So we will open that connection and we will call this model there in the SAC, and in SAC we can develop stories. In the stories, we can add tables, charts, we can create a dashboard using this data. We can generate top 10 revenues, we can generate geographic revenue distribution, we can perform top performing sales managers. So we are going to create these 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 reports in the SAC. It's stories basically. And then there are some other, see, always we want to know the other aspects of this particular data sphere. So there are some things we should have knowledge. So we should understand security, how the security works, how the content. So one space, so what SAP says, when you release the content, when you activate the content, you have to install the content in a particular space, and in that space, from that space, you have to share the objects to other spaces or other tenants, right? How can you export import? So repository explorer, data sphere operations, data marketplace, command line interface, currency translation. So these things we are going to understand. Row level permissions. For example, if you have a table of data, in that you want to give row level permissions. For this product only he can access, or for this group of products he can access. Based on the product category, the user can access. So that row level permissions, how can we perform using external hierarchies, we will configure in the system. It's an exercise. Then we are going to understand SAP BW bridge, right? So basic BW bridge is basically a BW solution, cloud solution. BW bridge is nothing but BW for HANA cloud. So we will understand use cases of this SAP DataSphere bridge. So here you see, I'm going to provide the configuration how to perform SAP BW bridge. So for example, setting up BW bridge, right? Creating objects in the BW bridge and moving that objects to SAP DataSphere, right? Creating the process chains, loading the data. So these all those videos I'm going to provide, right? So hands-on. So for example, we cannot execute in the system because this needs separate license. BW bridge needs a separate license, so we and a separate installation. So that's why we are not going to install this BW bridge. However, after videos and after my session, you can easily work on BW bridge projects, SAP DataSphere BW bridge relevant products. This course makes you feel like you can easily work on BW bridge. We will understand use cases of SAP DataSphere BW bridge, the terminology. So we will compare BW terminology with the BW bridge and this particular DataSphere. So how to set up this BW bridge, how to create info objects, ADSOs, data sources, transformations in BW bridge, how to load master data, transaction data to this BW bridge, and how to import BW bridge objects. Basically, we can share, or we can expose these BW bridge objects to SAP DataSphere spaces, how to do that. And we will have in the BW bridge, there is like a cockpit, like like a Fury kind of thing, right? Bridge cockpit, there you can create the process chain, you can execute the process chains, and you can monitor the process chains. right? So that information we'll understand. So this is all about the course content we are going to develop. So you are going to get hands-on experience, and after this particular session, you can easily implement a project. So now this course planned for 30 hours. So these are weekend sessions, Saturday and Sunday. USA also Saturday and Sunday, and session times 4 p.m. India time, same time. How now we connected at the same time we can connect 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. 2 hours Saturday, 2 hours Sunday. But today I take only this course content walkthrough. Then tomorrow we'll go through the system walkthrough. That's it. And configuration steps PDF documents, I'm going to share it with you. Each and every configuration step you will see, so you will not feel like suppose if you are not if you want to repeat the session exercises or hands on, you can easily repeat because I give the configuration steps. So the course fees 30,000 INR. Initially, we will start with the trial user, so no need to take any system access. So we will use the trial user, which is free. I will give you sample master data and transaction data for practice. So you can attend 2 times this particular course. In 6 months, you can attend 2 times. If you want to attend one more time or third time onwards, you have to pay 6,000 extra. Right. So this is all about the DataSphere course. Yeah. Now it's open for the questions. Any question?
Is this is the first match you're running for on DataSphere?
This is demo, correct? Yeah. First.
Generally, previously, have you taken any sessions on DataSphere, or this is the first batch?
No, no, no. This is second batch. First batch completed
Okay, thank
last
you.
week. Right. I'm stopping the recording.